Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227. Or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
And good afternoon and welcome to Lambda Weekly. I'm David Taffet and I'm here in the studio with Lerone Landis. The late Patti Fink will be joining us shortly. Our guest today is, I'm just laughing, new way to communicate that she's running a little bit late by text message.
Text?
I guess she got tired after 15 years of my answering the phone saying, well, that's, oh, you're running a little bit late. I'm shocked. Our guest today is Candy Marcum, which means it is Pledge Drive.
Yes.
And we do need you to give us a call, help KNON stay on the air. We need to do our part like every show does. Since we moved last year, because our building is now a pile of rubble, we didn't have a choice, but we moved because they're tearing down Oak Lawn, basically. Our tower lease has gone up, which had nothing to do with the move, but the office rent is up. Our tower repairs are up. The engineering services are up.
Are the salaries up?
The salaries are they've doubled from nothing to nothing. But all of our expenses, basically, I'm just looking at the sheet that KNON gives us of what our monthly expenses are. It's gone up. For the first time, every day we broadcast, it's over $2,000 a day. Now, when you compare that to other companies and other radio stations whose costs are more like $2,000 an hour, this is a bargain. All of the money goes into the direct costs of running the radio station. So give us a call. The number is 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Operators are standing by. And they stand by right here in the studio because we do love that you call, and we care about your call. Absolutely. And we care about it personally. And as I like to say, unlike other radio stations that do pledge drives, who you're calling the call center elsewhere.
Give us a call, 972-647-1893. And if you request to talk to one of us, we'll even get off the air and talk to you. Especially, we got two of them over there, Josh and Chris. Mm-hmm. So he'll talk to you.
Yeah, either of his personalities.
Either one of them.
There are several ways to pledge. One of them is just by calling. Another one is by going online and going to knon.org and click on the pledge button.
And the other one is you can do an automatic bank draft. All you got to do is, call us. We'll tell you how to set it up. And you can have it deducted from your checking account or whichever account you want to use from the first of the month, which is technically from the 1st to the 3rd, or you can do it from the middle of the month, from the 14th to 16th. You select the amount and just get it set up. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And it can be a small amount, but over a year's time, that's a lot. And it's a continuous contribution to the station, which we would greatly appreciate. So give us a call, 972-647-1893.
And another thing you can do, if you happen to be driving and texting while you're driving, like Patti was doing,
pull over. And text us. Text KNON to the number 56512.
Patti was flying down Central Expressway when she texted us that she's running a little bit late. Patti, while you're on behind the wheel of the car, not doing anything else particularly, you can text, and that number again is
56512.
And if you want to call us here in the studio, the number is 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Candy, usually kicks off our pledge drive with us and has for a number of years now.
Long time, yeah.
And we enjoy that because you do so well just working into all of our pledge drive stuff and then just going back and forth to a conversation. And one of the things I wanted to discuss, these bathroom bills that are going through, 2 passed in state legislatures. We have one that's being debated at the Rockwall City Council on Monday. And they're just catching fire. And we know the reason. It's a reaction to marriage equality. They can't do anything about that, so how can we attack? What do these bathroom bills do to the psyche of somebody who's being attacked? And I'm saying that like we're not, but we're as likely to be attacked over it as anybody if you don't present just right.
Absolutely.
You know, there are myths that a man looks a certain way, and there are myths that a woman looks a certain way. And no one's really going to think about that unless they have been conditioned to think about that. I mean, think about it. When you go into a public bathroom, do you look around to see if there are people who are all male or all female in your bathroom? You don't. You just go in there and do your business and come out. Wash your hands and come out. I want to really underscore wash your hands. But at any rate,
Yes.
I do. But I want to say that I think this issue is a solution in desperate need of a problem. This is not a problem. There's no one way to look male and one way to look female. And who's going to police this? And there are people that we probably all know that have presented in a way that is authentic to them, but is a gender bender to other people. And I think that's just so rude when someone says, "Sir, this is the women's bathroom," and it turns out to be, this cute little butch girl.
Right.
And this is going to exacerbate all of that. But it is mainly because someone has told them that transgender people are perpetrators. And that is so not true. And let me tell you, there have been transgender people since the earth cooled. This is not new. This group of identified folks is not new. But they are going to have to really help themselves with this because it's put a bee in people's bonnets, and here's a new group to hate.
And I really want to emphasize on what you said, David, and it is if you don't present just have someone thinks
That person thinks
you should present. There's an old quote from RuPaul that I just love, and he says that everybody is in drag. Everybody. He goes, "You're born naked. Everything else is drag."
That's right.
And that is so true.
That is
It is
right.
so true because we don't naturally have clothes on. We don't naturally wear makeup or have our hair done a certain way or cut a certain way. So all of that is drag. So it is like you said, how a person chooses to dress themselves or how to appear. That does not mean they are biologically a male or female. You have no idea.
And it's also born in sexism.
It is.
I have on, well, they're not exactly pants, but they're short pants. I have on a blouse that, I don't know if it could be male or female, but it's kind of okay for women to kind of dress like men do.
Your blouse button's on the men's side.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is pretty, I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Okay, that is the women's side.
No,
I'm
no,
looking
no.
backwards.
I know
right,
your
right.
glasses look like this. But anyway, but it is not okay, for a man to wear a pink shirt. That's a stretch. That's a courageous man who wears a pink shirt. And I love the color pink.
Right.
So it really is. It is born out of sexism.
And then this is not just affecting actual trans individuals. It's affecting other people too, who just happen to, like you said, it could just be a cute little butch girl who's not even gay.
Okay, WFAA reported.
Yes.
WFAA Channel 8 reported this weekend that a man followed a woman into a restroom. He thought she was a man because she was, had spiky hair.
Which
and
restroom was she going into?
She was going into the ladies' room because she is a woman and identifies as a woman, and so she's always used a woman's room. She said afterwards that she's been mistaken for being a boy before, but he said he was just protecting his mother who was in the restroom, which is a nice thing to do. You do want to protect your mother. But again, it was protection that was in need of somebody to be protected against, and it's probably something he never would have thought of.
Or never done before. He's probably never even thought of it or done it before until all this marketing of this being an issue has come out. And now, he's hypervigilant about it.
And where do you think all these people who are so all of a sudden concerned about it, where do you think all these trans individuals have been going to the restroom before?
Yeah.
They've been amongst us, like you said, since the earth cooled.
Right.
And they've been going to the restrooms.
And we've never noticed.
And never noticed.
Okay, so what does that kind of stress, and it's a different kind of stress than just people don't like you. In the gay community, we've had a lot of that, where people just don't like us because their religion says, because their family has, a whole bunch of reasons. But this is, I really have to go to the bathroom and I'm afraid to.
I think it has a violent feel to it. I have to say that. The fella who wanted to protect his mother, my guess is that part of protection would have been maybe to get too close to her and say, get out, or maybe touch her arm to pull her out. It really does have a feel to it that is scary to me. And where other people would, I think it's kind of shaming that someone doesn't know what gender you are. This has a different feel to it. It's like it's physically dangerous for one of these people to think that you're in the, quote, wrong bathroom.
It wouldn't take much to imagine that the next time this happens, somebody's going to follow somebody into a restroom and that person has a gun.
Well, you can certainly carry them now.
Absolutely.
You can conceal them or you can open carry.
Yep.
That's not dangerous. What's dangerous is someone going to the bathroom that you think should not be in that particular bathroom. And I mean, it's not going to just, you're right, it's not going to catch just GLBT folks.
No, it's not.
It's going to catch all kinds of people, straight people, who don't seem to, someone doesn't think that the way they look conforms to that gender, I think it's very dangerous.
Recipe for disaster, because again, especially with the gun mix.
Yes.
Because what's the next step? Just like this guy, he perceived that his mother was in danger. Well, then you shot somebody, or it says, okay, well, I was just defending. Well, really, what were you defending?
So what's the reaction that somebody feels? We're talking about ramping it up a step where it's more than just follow them in, but somebody walks in with a gun. What's the reaction that a transgender person takes to this? And I'm talking about...
They're going to have to think, how long will it be before I have to go into a bathroom? They're going to have to plan their day around that, and they're going to have to hope that they go to a public bathroom that looks safe enough for them, or they have to wait till they get home. It's really awful. I think it's an awful thing. But to plan your day around your bathroom needs.
Yeah.
Because
and who does
they're
that?
going to be scared.
Yeah, who?
Well, I do, but when you get older, everybody does. But
So I've heard.
I just drove in from Waco, so I had to time it. Anyway, but that's a different issue. But it is something. I mean, something people should not have to do. You're really laughing at me, aren't you, Josh?
I am too, Josh.
Oh, no one's listening.
Thank you for sharing that.
And while we're welcoming the late Patti Fink into the studio, welcome, Patti. We're doing pledge drive today.
Pledge drive.
We're doing pledge drive today. Words aren't coming out of my mouth quite
Give
clearly.
us a call at 972-647-1893. And thank you, Candy, for your pledge.
Well, you're very
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
Thank you very, very much.
I so believe in public radio, and I so believe in Lambda Weekly, in all that you guys have done for all these years for zero money. and have done so much good.
Zero
for the
money to
community.
us. Lots of money into the station.
Lots of money into the station, you bet. Keep us on.
The number again, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Operators are standing by. Yes. And we really do need to get your pledges. One thing I always like to do is just briefly tell you the history of Lambda Weekly. We were one of the first gay media outlets anywhere. We're one of the first radio stations, although we weren't the first, but we are now the oldest. Weekly, 1 hour gay and lesbian and transgender talk shows that's still on the air.
Consistently.
Yeah, consistently on the air. We've been on for coming up on our 33rd.
Can we do 1983?
1983.
Yeah, that's 33.
So
33.
In August, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right, because 6 from 3
is 3.
And it was like the first week or something. So the next, we have a pledge drive in August. So the next time you're on will be our 33rd anniversary.
Oh, we should have a party.
Yeah. And
$33.
it was the station that came to us and said, would you like to do a gay and lesbian radio show? It was Bill Nelson. He was one of the original hosts from Nelson Thibodeau Clinic. People know the name. And sure, of course. And Bill came back to Dallas Gay and Lesbian Alliance and said, okay, we're going to do a radio show on this new radio station. It's a gay and lesbian talk show. What's that? And we had to come up with what that was. So, but it's been on the air consistently, and KNON has stood behind getting information out to the LGBT community ever since. So give us a call, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Or text us at
56512 and text KNON.
Just text KNON and to that number, and a screen will come up, and you just fill out the information.
I did not text
easy.
and drive.
Oh,
I did
you
not,
heard us.
I did not drive and text either.
At least we know she's
better.
listening.
She's listening. I'm just thrilled.
Oh, I heard it all.
972's. I always forget the mics are on. My mouth just goes. 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893.
Top 10 Records in Oak Cliff is having a clearance sale and donating part of the proceeds to KNON. The entire store is part of this sale. It includes display posters, CDs, LPs, mobiles, I guess would be, 8-tracks, 78s, collectible vinyl, rare posters, cassettes, 45s, LP singles, signed photos, and more. Top 10 Records is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Top 10 Records is located at 338 West Jefferson Boulevard in Oak Cliff at the corner of Jefferson and Bishop. For more information, call 214-942-7595. All of the genres of music heard on KNON are available.
But there was a time when they wouldn't even let us near a station, and now we have our own show. Come on. Give to Lambda Weekly, 89.3. They're going to give you the numbers, which are...
Oh, which are, that's right, Roland is good.
972. There we go, 972-647-1893.
Yeah, I forgot that Rollins did that. He recorded and said, they're going to give you the number because we were in the other room, and you know how I remember the number after 33 years? I don't. 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Give us a call.
And we do still have our premiums that you can get. Mm-hmm. And, we've been having all this rain. I don't know if it's gone for good.
It's not.
Probably not. And the umbrellas, the KNON umbrellas are fabulous from what I hear. So you're going to find out real soon,
Yes,
Candy.
I am. I got an umbrella.
Yes. So give us a call, 972-647-1893.
And we're talking to Candy Marcum. She is a counselor in our community, and we've been talking about what these bathroom bills do to somebody personally. And we're talking about the people who are being victimized, and I think they're victims of
Absolutely.
this bill.
They're being terrorized, too.
One of the things that I think is kind of interesting, and I've just started hearing this week, and I've been hearing it repeatedly. Oh, it's not about you, Candy.
I like you.
I like gay people. No, but I like gay people, and it has nothing to do. But those transgender people are just sick, perverted, blah 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 blah, and a whole list, a litany of what it is, and it's been a divide and conquer thing.
Yes.
Is that what they're doing? They don't really like me. I know that.
Well, what you said before we came on live is that you said these folks that are drumming this up, and they're drumming it up, it's not something they really fear. They're making us fear it. But they have given up on terrorizing gays and lesbians and trying to keep us from getting our full equal rights. They've given up on that. We have marriage now. So now they're going to try to find some other poor group of people who will fill their coffers at church, who will help them get elected to the city council and Rockwall. And so they found the poor little transgender folks who all they want to do is blend in. That's all they want to do. They want to be able to live their life in the gender that they believe that they are, with someone they love, and just get on with their life. And now this kind of thing is going to make them have to come out and stand up for themselves, and that's not really something they want to do.
The sad thing, though, is that if you talk to a lot of trans people, bathrooms are already a concern. Many folks are very shy, and they don't want to go out in public and use public restrooms. And there are a lot of straight people who don't like to use public restrooms, let me tell you.
There's a lot of lesbians who don't.
Exactly. They'll go home before they'll use a public restroom.
I know, so
but it's a real it's already kind of a fear, because the trans community is there's no question the trans community has been attacked, quite literally. We had 25 trans women killed last year, and most of them were women of color. It's not a simple fear of being judged. I think it's quite more than that. For them, they already had, long before this was, because it's really bigotry in search of expression. That's all it is. That's all this stuff is. It's bigotry in search of expression, and this is what they've glommed onto. But trans women have been fearful of going into a women's restroom and a public restroom anywhere for years before any of this happened. And now they're being portrayed as the perpetrators.
Right.
And yet they're
insane.
so courageous with what they do, is to try to find their authenticity with their gender, and to go through all kinds of angst with their families, with their friends, with their co-workers. Finally, getting some acceptance and understanding, which to me go hand in hand. And then this comes out of left field about the bathrooms. The first time I heard about it was Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And unbelievable that that failed.
Yeah, we in our community, we know that this is just a made-up issue.
Yep.
There isn't one that we could find. There isn't one single reported case of a trans individual assaulting or doing any inappropriate behavior to somebody else in a public bathroom. So it's made up. The closest thing that we have found, or I saw on the internet, which again was immediately shut down, was somebody in Florida 5 or 6 years ago. This was a straight man who already had a record, literally dressed up as a woman to get into the restrooms. But that is not a trans individual. Big difference. But how do you talk to somebody who has it in their mind that this is an issue, and when you try and present facts to them, and can you reasonably talk to somebody, or if their mind is just made up?
I think it is so difficult to talk to someone from a reasonable point of view, a cognitive point of view, when they're all into their emotions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a gut emotional reaction that there are people in this world who are dangerous to me, who are dangerous to people I love. Now, I didn't know that till I was told about it, but once I found out that there are people that are a danger to me, then I get all worked up about it. And so to talk to someone who's really in their emotions like that, from a cognitive point of view, you cannot do that. You cannot. Even if you were to say, so, like last year, what were you afraid about with your mother going to the bathroom? They're not going to answer that in a way that is reasonable. They're just so scared.
But they live in fear. And there was a study done about whether conservatives or liberals have kind of a predisposition to those, and what they found is that the trigger response in a conservative person to things about fear is just amplified. And so fear mongering works really great for conservatives. Because they are all about being scared. They're scared about so they carry their guns, and they carry their guns everywhere, open and closed. They live for fear. That's their thing, is fear. So it just seems amazing.
That's the basis of any human living organism, is fear. The one cell amoeba will go from the dark to the light. That's why deers have long legs and rabbits have big ears, and we are no different. That deep down we have this fear. The one fear that humans have, the innate fear, only innate thing, is fear of falling. So when what they did is they had a place that was a table, and they had the middle of the table glass, and they had this baby crawling who would stop when they got to the glass because they saw down to the bottom, and it looked like they were going to fall. That's why when those hijackers, we don't hear about this much anymore, but when they're up in the air, the way they get down is say, oh, we're out of gas. We're out of fuel. Okay, well, we'll have to land. Because they have this fear of falling. So humans are just like the deer that are startled, and it's all about survival. And somehow they make it look like it's about gays and lesbians. Now that they've lost that, like David said, now it's about transgender. It's very clever, whoever does this, to focus on fear, because everybody has it.
Okay, we had a caller, and he wants to know, so how do we know who the real perverts are? Or who do we know, how do we know that certain people are not? And it sounded like from your conversation with him, Josh took the call, he was just asking, how do we know? You want to be safe.
And you don't.
You don't. I mean,
lewd behavior and criminal behavior in a bathroom is still lewd and criminal behavior.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with trans people or not trans people.
Or gay or straight. It's just, it's the action.
Oh, okay, so is this fair, Candy, to go by the history of who does things, or is that then going to paint other people in that category in a bad light?
Yeah, I don't think you can
straight
put
men?
a label.
Well, I was going to go to Republican congressmen specifically.
Right.
It has to do, I will tell you, with sexual abuse, family of origin, behavior, things that happened when you were very young that makes you want to hurt another person or have sex with another person. But if you are aware of your environment, if you are alert, if you go to well-lit places, these big highway places, I just know this because I came from Waco just now, where there's lots of gasoline and there's a store inside and there are bathrooms inside. When there's people around, that's a good place. This kind of abandoned looking place where the bathroom is, that's not so good. So it really is, it's incumbent upon you to take care of yourself more than it is incumbent upon us to tell you who the perpetrators are.
And what do you do, though, because he was asking about, he has a kid, right? Okay, he has a daughter. Lerone, you have a daughter. Okay, what do you do when you go to a mall?
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
One, my daughter just turned the age where I can't supposedly take her into the bathroom with me anymore. But when we do go to places, if they have a family restroom, we always use those. And most malls have those now, and even retail places. If they don't, she has to go to the ladies' room. I open the door, watch her go in, and I stand right outside, wait till she comes out. And we've had the stranger danger talk, I don't know how many times. So, you have to just use your common sense. That doesn't mean I'm sitting there looking at every single lady who comes in there thinking, oh, that looks like a man, I'm going to be all worried or whatever,
Well, let's talk about that, though, because I think what the caller and others are not realizing is that trans men are going to be forced to use the ladies' room.
Exactly.
And if you have seen some trans men, these men are men, and they look like men. And you're telling them by this law that they must, by law, use the ladies' restroom. And so they go into the ladies' restroom, and your kid is going to freak when they see a trans man.
Yes.
Because that's what you want to happen. That's what you're saying by this law.
Right.
You want to happen.
So by these laws, I'm glad you brought that up, Patty. By these laws, they want individuals to go to the bathroom with their, I guess, original born genitalia. That's what they want.
Based on their biological
yes.
biological sex assigned at birth,
Exactly.
which is a whole
That's a whole
can
different,
of worms.
whole different can
It
of worms.
is.
So, but Candy and I were talking about before the show, just in the past couple of months, the first female to male transgender person made the cover of Men's Health. He is gorgeous. Just a great body. Believe you me, you would have no idea that this individual was born with the assigned gender of female. You would have no idea. So if you made him go to the women's restroom, believe me, everybody would freak. Like, what is this muscle-bound guy doing in the ladies' restroom?
And I'll just tell our caller, just Google trans man.
Yes. That's all you got to do.
And go to images.
Because
and
that's who's
going to be coming in your
restroom with your daughter.
And
he was. This was not a. This was a genuine question, not an accusatory question.
And to the caller, I would just say again, as a father of a little girl, I would just say use your common sense. You need to be watchful of everything.
One thing that I thought was kind of fun this week. Part of this hysteria has to do with Target coming out publicly and just restating that all of their customers are welcome to use the bathroom that they're comfortable using. And fitting rooms. But the fitting rooms at the Target I go to, there's one bank of fitting rooms, and you go into this room and you go into the fitting room and close and lock the door. There's not men's fitting rooms in one part of City Place Target and women's in another place. They're just all there together.
I didn't know that.
So
they are.
What do? What do they want Target to do?
You continue shopping and buying clothes and trying them on.
Remodel the entire store so that things are... No, it's very safe. It's kind of half open to the store. There's usually an employee just sitting there. Nothing's going to happen. You go in, you lock the door. So, and this policy that some people are taking as, this new policy. It's not a new policy. It's always been their policy. So, I'm signing a petition. I'm going to go to Walmart from now on. You know what Walmart's policy is? They didn't. Yeah, they did not have a press release this week. It's the exact same policy.
Why do you think that this is going on in Rockwall?
I think the mayor has ambitions that are not stated, perhaps.
It's attention getting.
It's attention getting,
definitely,
sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And I don't think that they've thought this through, and that's why I'm hoping that people will go to the meeting on Monday evening. It's at 6 p.m. at City Hall in Rockwall. You can Google that too, find the address. And the policy as it's written is in the agenda. You can go, Google City of Rockwall City Council, and get their agenda, and it's right there in the agenda. So the meeting is at 6 p.m. in Rockwall. But I think it is attention getting. I think our lieutenant governor has really, fanned the flames of this. Because they're probably going to try to do that in the legislature as well when it convenes in January, and pass some sort of law. And they're not even looking at what's happening in North Carolina, where they're losing millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in jobs and economic activity in North Carolina because of this insanely prejudicial bill.
And the governor is furious because his poll numbers are just dropping.
Oh, yeah.
Every day.
So he's getting attention too.
Yeah, he's getting. Mayor of Rockwall, pay attention to the attention that Governor McCrory's getting in North Carolina.
Speaking of fanning the flames or fans or something like that, it's Pledge Drive. And we do need our listeners to help keep KNON on the air no matter what format you like on this station, there has to be at least a couple of formats that you really enjoy that you can't hear anywhere else. You know, I've been listening to the radio this week. This isn't exactly the conversation that I've been hearing. Been hearing it in exactly the opposite way. So give us a call, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Operators are standing by. Did we see, are there any new pledge drive items this time?
Where did my sheet go? Thank you.
Oh, there it is.
Here we are. Thank you, Candy. Again, we mentioned the umbrella. There is one new thing for the ladies, and that can be anybody. It's a ladies' V-top shirt, and it comes in purple. I don't know if that's...
It would match my hair when I dye it purple. I haven't done that in years.
Maybe that's a nod to, I don't know, to Prince. Mm-hmm. It just passed away. But anyway, so yeah, we have our usual stuff like the backpack. That's a really good one. And the apron. It is coming up. It is coming up to be barbecue season. So you can get that, and that's just for a pledge for $40.
Or if you're just messy like Patty, you just need an apron so that.
How many aprons does Patty have?
I have one. And I wear it all the time. It has pockets.
At least 4 or 5.
I have several. I have one in play at all times.
Gotcha.
Because it has pockets.
Yes.
And the apron is awesome. And it's made of this really heavy canvas, just like the Knon tote bags. The canvas tote bags that you can take anywhere. And these are the best ones because you can load up with cans or laundry detergent and heavy things, and it's not going to give. It's an incredibly wonderful bag. So if you don't have any of those, that's a great thing to get when you pledge.
So give us a call, 972-647-1893.
972-647-1893. And one other item I want to mention, and that is the Knon beach towel. I got one last summer, and Gabrielle just loves it when we go swimming because it wraps totally around her body. It's a big beach towel. Yeah, so that's a great one.
Now we just need to get a Knon beach.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have any.
But that means we would have to move.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not doing
no
that.
beach front property here.
We'll be
in Dallas
back right
Fort Worth.
after this.
I'm Dallas City Councilman Adam Medrano, and you're listening to Lambda Weekly on 89.3 Knon FM.
And welcome back to Lambda Weekly. As somebody mentioned on there along the way, I think it's Pledge Drive.
It's Pledge Drive.
So give us a call, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. All kinds of reasons to pledge. The Knon always gives us a new list every pledge drive. But one of the things that is true about Knon, and there isn't another station in the Dallas market that is like this, all of the programming is done by your local DJ here. We don't do playlists. It's not done from somebody out of town. It's all done live and local.
Yes.
And that's true for every show.
Every show. And the opinions that you hear, the detailed information that we give about the LGBT community is from us. We're, out in the field working or doing our research.
Or our guests.
Or our guests, so this is coming straight from us, very local.
Now, our show, we podcast afterwards, and you can pick it up on YouTube during that week, or you can go back, listen to old shows. Most of what we do is not podcast, but it is streamed live on the web at knon.org. There's a big cost to that. It's getting the signal to the station or to the company that streams it for us, and there are costs involved there too. So if you're listening from out of town, 972-647-1893, or if you're listening and you're on your computer, what you can do is just click that pledge button, and you can pledge while you're listening. You can order your pledge premium while you're on that site. Just say that it's for Lambda Weekly or for whichever show it is that you're pledging for.
Or that LGBT show if you can't do Lambda Weekly, or LW.
That'll get it, or Sunday at 1 o'clock. 972-647-1893. And I'm saying Sunday at 1 o'clock because that's our local time, and you could be listening from anywhere in the world. And I don't know what time it is in Dallas. Just Sunday at 1 is when we're on local time, and that'll get it to us. 972-647-1893 or knon.org/pledge, or just click on the pledge button, or you can text into us your pledge
to 56512 and text the number or the letters KNON.
Good. So give us a call. We've gotten a couple of pledges, I think, over there, because they're taking the pledges over at at another table in our luxurious new North Dallas studio.
And I mentioned it at the top of the hour, but let me mention it again. You can set up your own bank draft. You can get it taken care of, and you determine the amount. It comes out of your bank account once a month. You can have it done at the beginning of the month, from the 1st to the 3rd, or in the middle of the month, from the 14th to the 16th. So this will occur every month. You don't have to worry about it, think about it. But over time, that is a big contribution to the station.
Another big contribution, and this is a chunk of cash, but we've sold these before, so I do want to mention you can become a KNON Elite Music sponsor. You'll get a pair of tickets to every KNON event for the entire year. We have 40 to 50 shows a year, and some of them are 2-day events even.
Mm-hmm.
So,
with food, many of them.
Most of them have food, and so for $500, 2 tickets to at least 40 different events during the year, you make back your money after 5-6 events.
And your name and your name and guest or a guest just lives on the list. Mm-hmm. So you don't even have to worry about getting tickets, where are the tickets, or go to any will call. You're just on the list all the time. For the whole year.
A number of events are
you just walk up and go.
A number of events are over at Sons of Herman Hall over in Deep Ellum, Poor David's Pub down on South Side. But we even have some Fort Worth events like the Fort Worth Blues Fest, one of our most popular events. There are a couple of Tejano benefits that are just huge. And one of our most popular events is the annual KNON Blues Fest. Mm-hmm. And that one especially. You're making your money if you go to 4 or 5 of those.
And if you can't do the Elite Music sponsor, which I think is just a bargain, a huge bargain, with a $100 pledge, you get a KNON concert folding chair. And if this is the season, folks, so we're going to start having outdoor music. Yeah. It's going to be fun. And there's a cup holder in both arms of the chair. So for $100, you get one of those chairs you can sling over your shoulder. It's heavy canvas, so you can carry it with you. And for $150, you can get 2 of those. So you and whoever you share music with can have chairs and just have a wonderful summer listening to music outdoors.
Our guest today is Candy Marcum, and we've been talking about the bathroom bills. Any other last thoughts on that? I want to go to something else.
I do want to bring something up about that, though, because they're talking about biological sex as if somebody's going to have some genitalia police to check.
I was thinking about that too. Who's going to look at that?
But the problem, I think, what they don't understand is, there's just so many things wrong with this. But one of the things they clearly haven't thought through is, what about intersex people? There are a significant number of people, and they've always been here since the Earth cooled.
Since the Earth cooled, yeah.
Who are not quite M and not quite F. And
you mean biologically from birth?
Right.
Yes.
Right. And that may be because of something genetic or chromosomal.
Ambiguous genitalia.
Right. And many, many other things. And they may not present in terms of their outward genitalia, but internally they may have different organs, both sexes' organs, those sorts of things. They may not respond to testosterone. They may not have the same sort of reaction in terms of hormonal distribution through their bodies. There are just a vast array of things that are not, the M checkbox and the F checkbox. It's just there's a lot of people who are not fit neatly in those boxes. Right. And so I think it just screams ignorance when, like, the mayor of Rockwall says, well, we're just going to go with their biological sex, as if everyone neatly fits into M and F, and they don't. No. And it's transgender people who are being targeted. It's intersex people who are being targeted, and then of course this latent thing that they haven't even thought through about the trans men having to go.
Right. Well, I think you make a really good point about the genitalia police. There's video out there, and I forgot what state it's in. It might be North Carolina, of a young lesbian woman who she does look like a little boy, looks like a cute little boy. But she is dragged out of the restroom by the police. And her friends are in hysterics, screaming, that is a girl. They're not listening to her. It happens in a mall. But I'm like, okay, so what does she need to do? Pull down her pants and show you? I mean, this is going to have screaming lawsuits. I mean, just a ripple effect. I mean, yeah, I hope so. You feel so bad for this girl. So, then I was thinking, what happens?
She owns that mall. At the end of
she
this.
does too. And so then I thought, what happens when there is an actual trans woman, say male to female, but up here. It's a little, because we were talking about, blending in before the show, some better than others, and she still looks kind of masculine, but, just long hair and makeup, and et cetera, and they think, okay, that's a man, but then you look at her genitalia, and she has had a genitalia reassignment. Then what are you going to do?
And a birth certificate change.
And a birth certificate change. Then
a
what are you
gender
gonna
marker
do?
change.
Exactly.
That's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be very interesting.
And a driver's license. And
everything else to back up. Yeah.
It just, there will be some people who will take it upon themselves to be the police. Mm-hmm. There are. That's just their nature. That's what they do. And those are the people who, to answer the caller's question, to me, those are the people who are perpetrators.
Yes. The ones who are super focused on
it.
Yeah.
It makes it their
Before
job
I go to
do
one
that.
other thing, because we're running out of time, 972-647-1893 is the number. It is Pledge Drive, 972-647-1893. Our phones aren't ringing, so we do need to get them to ring.
Well, I heard talking, and I thought maybe they were ringing.
No, it's not ringing. They're talking.
visiting.
They're talking.
Worst case scenario.
But, okay, so Candy, here's what I want to ask you. Two of the people in this room are married. Mm-hmm. Patti has gotten married since the last time you were here. Patti, you said you do feel a little bit different.
I do.
Are
It
the
does.
two of you getting married in June?
In June.
Okay, and
Oh,
so
awesome.
Brian and I are getting married also in June.
June.
As the counselor, what advice, and Patti, feel free to tell her that she's off her rocker.
I'm not ever going to tell Candy she's off her rocker because she is
girl.
not off her rocker.
What advice do you have? Because all four of us will be married the next. Just poor Josh.
Yes. That's the real question.
Josh is. Okay, so Candy, let me restate this. Do you have any advice for us, and what's wrong with Josh?
Right.
The advice that I have for you all is, enjoy the freedom of it. David, this isn't so much for you as it is for the three of us. When I think about getting married after living with someone and loving someone for almost 30 years, I still have a little trepidation. But what if you'd been dating somebody 6 months or something and you marry him? I mean, that is really scary, I would think, because we're all in this forever, right? Not as long as it's good, because that'll be short, but forever. And I think it's wonderful after all these years that you do feel a difference. Mm-hmm. There's something about that legal document, something about being on the same playing field as everyone else.
It feels solid.
It makes a difference.
It feels solid, and there's a bit of a relief to it.
Yeah. Now, as far as Chris, Chris, my experience has been, especially with someone as cute as you and nice as you, my experience has been that when people are single, they're kind of wanting that somehow. They kind of, they got this going.
That sounds right.
Because there is a lot of fear in making a commitment to someone. The fear is, if we get too close, I'll lose myself in that other person, and I don't know where they stop and I begin. Or we get real close, and that person gets to know me, and they're like, oh, my God, and they dump me. Mm-hmm. That's the fear. But we all deal with it.
Right.
And you can, too.
And then you'll be like Karen and I the other night. We sometimes forage in the evenings. We just call it foraging because we're not going to cook or anything because we have a lot of leftovers or something. And she opened the fridge and she pulled out something from the fridge. And I said, I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to choose that. And she goes, you did not. I'm like, yes, I do. I know you.
Yes, you do.
And we kind of had a fun time talking about those things that we know. We just know about.
We just got married, but we know each other. It's a wonderful thing.
And in our case, it's like when I came home and told Brian we're getting married at the June 9th Turtle Creek Chorale concert, he said, oh, okay. But I know what he was thinking. He was thinking, okay, this is the next dumb thing that David's getting me into. But
in a long list.
In a long list, and that's okay.
Too funny.
But
bless his heart, Brian.
Mm-hmm. Do you know we had a real sweet experience last week. We got our rings. We were shopping someplace. It was north of LBJ. Now I don't go north of Mockingbird normally. That's my safety zone. Mm-hmm. Even though once a week I come up here to North Dallas to KNON. We went up to the counter in this far North Dallas jewelry store, and we said we'd like to look at these rings. And do you know what the woman said to us?
What?
Oh, congratulations! When are you getting married?
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
most people don't care. And not only that, most people are happy.
No, I was going to say, no, it's not that they don't care.
Uh-huh.
It's the
They're
second
happy,
one. Yeah. So it's not all this. We were talking the first half of the show like everyone's against us. And that's really not true.
No, there's just a few people.
That's really not true. It's
that
that
have
vocal
ulterior motives and motivations.
And our walk-in donation that I thought we lost you when we moved out of Oak Lawn. I'm so happy to see you, Linda. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the donation.
Yeah, Patti, take.
Linda,
give a hug. When you come into the studio to donate, you get a hug.
Okay.
I get hugs from Doc anyway.
Yeah, from everybody. And if you'd like to donate, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. And that's one of our highlights, that we actually get to hug one of the people or two of the people who come and make a donation to Lambda Weekly. We really appreciate that. And again, 972-647-1893. We are not completely out of time. We have a few more minutes. This is advice I want to hear that you're giving yourself now that you're getting married, but also I'll take it. And Patty's a newlywed. What advice should she know?
You're going to be.
I'm going to be. I'm saying
Yes.
I'm coming soon. Candy is coming soon, and Patty just was.
I think we should do a newlywed game soon too.
Yeah, we probably should. So.
Oh, we should.
Right, and you'll have to moderate, Lerone.
I will.
Okay, next time you're on. And we'll bring our spouses, all of us.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay, so Candy,
Yes.
what's some advice that you give a newlywed couple?
Well, I would say to be present, be there, knowing what is happening, be filled with gratitude that we're able to do that now. All of us know in our lifetime that this was not anything that we ever thought we would be able to have, and not in Texas, but we so can. So I think to be very, very present and aware of how special it is. That we can get married. A lot of people, of course, take it for granted. They never had an issue with it.
Do you know there are so many little details, and even though we're not planning most of this, it's a chorale concert that we'll be married at, so they're taking care of most of the evening and most of the program. There are so many little things that's like, oh, I never thought of that, because it never occurred to me that one day I'd be getting married. Never.
Exactly.
It just, and it's not that I haven't had other relationships or anything that. It just never occurred to me. So anytime I went to a wedding, I went to it, and it's nothing I thought, okay, I need to pay attention to this because it might apply to me at some time.
Right.
Yeah, try planning a wedding out of the country.
Right.
It's all kinds of details I didn't think of.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And just as we were planning those things, it just kind of happens.
There's a lot of detail to it.
Yeah.
Ours is going to be very simple.
Nice.
But still, you have to think about who's going to stand up for you. You have to have a witness, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's all kinds of things you can do before. I went to someone's announcement party, and it was just huge and wonderful because I think they were going off to Hawaii to get married with their family.
Nice.
They had
Wow.
a great big announcement party. It was a great idea.
Candy, thank you so much for being with us
you, Candy.
once again.
It's wonderful.
I
Thank you,
love that
Candy.
idea. We'll play the Newlywed Game next time you're
Yeah,
on.
let's do it.
That's an
Laurent,
awesome
you
idea.
will.
I'll moderate.
You'll moderate.
Yeah.
972-647-1893. You can donate to the wedding registry. No, to KNON. KNON. 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. We'll be around a few minutes after the show. You can call us then. We'll see you next week.